Why do conservative capitalist Christian Republicans in the United States love Milo Yiannopoulos so much? The Daily Beast says Milo Yiannopoulos is a beast. The 31-year-old boastfully gay Breitbart writer, or dangerous faggot, has quickly become a hero to young conservatives and libertarians for smacking down the ridiculous, out-of-control social justice warriors who troll college campuses. The Washington Post says Twitter permanently banned the conservative writer Milo Yiannopoulos as it cracked down on a wave of racist abuse targeting the Ghostbusters actor Leslie Jones. According to Bloomberg, Yiannopoulos gained his initial fame as the general in a massive troll war over misogyny in the video game world, known as Gamergate. He likes to brag that he's a bottom for tall black men, and that he used to hold a paint sample called Pharaoh's Gold 5 to men at clubs to see if they were dark enough to have sex with. Yiannopoulos says, "That's why I don't like Planned Parenthood. They kill all those black babies. In 20 years, they could be my harem." The New York Times says, with far-right groups edging into the mainstream with the rise of President Trump, self-described anti-fascists and anarchists are vowing to confront them at every turn and by any means necessary, including violence. In Berkeley, California, masked protesters set fires, smashed windows, and stormed buildings on the campus of the University of California to shut down a speech by Milo Yiannopoulos, an inflammatory Breitbart News editor and a right-wing provocateur. That followed a bloody melee in Seattle on Inauguration Day, when black-clad demonstrators, their faces concealed to minimize the risk of arrest, tried to prevent a speech by Mr. Yiannopoulos at the University of Washington, and a 34-year-old anti-fascist was shot and seriously wounded by a supporter of Mr. Yiannopoulos. But anarchists and anti-fascists, who often make up a small but disproportionately attention-getting portion of protesters, defend the mayhem they create as a necessary response to an emergency. Antifa means anti-fascist against fascism. It is an anonymous, violent gang or movement that inflicts chaos, personal injury, and destruction at otherwise peaceful protest demonstrations. Bloc, wearing matching black masks and clothes, is a routine tactic employed by the Antifa movement, which originated in Germany. International Business Times says Antifa combines radical left-wing and anarchist politics, revulsion at racists, sexists, homophobes, anti-Semites, and Islamophobes with the international anti-fascist culture of taking the streets and physically confronting the brown shirts of white supremacy, whoever they may be, Antifa NYC told The Nation last week. Antifa dates back much further than Trump and the rise of the alt-right. The movement began in Europe as a response to the rise of fascism in Europe in the 1930s. The New York Times says, yes, what the Black Bloc did last night was destructive to property, says Eric Larson, who has helped publicize anarchist protests. But do you just let someone like Milo go wherever he wants and spread his hate? The pro-Trump black tie party called the Deplorable took place in Washington, D.C. the night before Donald Trump's presidential inauguration. New York Mag says the Deplorable was a surprisingly queer event. Gateway pundit blogger Jim Hoft announced his website's first White House correspondent, Twinks for Trump photographer Lucian Wintrich, whom Hoff described as a gay victim of the New York City art world's gay mafia. Wintrich announced, "I'm going to be the youngest, gayest correspondent in the White House in history." Someone in the crowd shouted, "Our gays are better than their gays," while protesters with signs preaching feminism and resistance to fascism were being pepper sprayed outside the Deplorable. Spin reports, prior to Richard Spencer getting clocked in the face, the greatest viral moment to arise from the post-inauguration protest in Washington, D.C. was footage of a young boy admitting to starting a bonfire outside of noted alt-right white nationalist hell shindig, the Deplorable, on Thursday night. "My name's Connor, and I actually kinda started this fire," said the 11-year-old boy to a Fox News reporter. "I felt like it, and because I'm just saying screw our president," he exclaimed. TMZ reports Drew Carey's son is the mystery kid from the Trump protest who claimed he started a bonfire and yelled, "Screw our president." Comedian Drew Carey star of The Drew Carey Show, and Whose Line Is It Anyway, is the host of The Price is Right on CBS. Zero Hedge says reports have been rolling in all evening of vicious mobs of violent protesters around Washington, D.C., attacking Donald Trump supporters in town for the inauguration, including people on their way to and from tonight's pre-inauguration Deplorable celebration held at the National Press Club building. One of the victims was 21-year-old Trump supporter and YouTube journalist James Alsop of Seattle, who was harassed and then punched on camera by members of the Antifa protest organization featured in the recent Project Veritas undercover sting. On YouTube, James Alsop says, "Out here at Deplorable, just got punched in the face by Antifa." In response to the Antifa Black Bloc destruction wreaked on the University of California, Berkeley, President Donald Trump issues a financial threat against the school on Twitter. If UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, no federal funds? The Daily Californian reports, according to campus spokesperson Dan Mogulof, for the fiscal year of 2015-2016, UC Berkeley students received $200 million in federal financial aid, in addition to $400 million for the campus's research enterprise. While the actions last night of a few, especially of those who had no affiliation to the campus, were reprehensible, I think it is important to not punish or even threaten to punish an entire public university system devoted to providing the public good of an equitable education, says Will Morrow, the president of Associated Students of University of California. California's Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom replied to Trump's tweet, expressing his shock at Trump's threat. "As a UC regent, I'm appalled at your willingness to deprive over 38,000 students access to an education because of the actions of a few," Newsom said. CBS reports UC Berkeley Police Chief Margot Bennett told reporters, "I do not believe our students were involved in the vandalism and the violent behavior that occurred. This was a group of agitators who were masked up, throwing rocks, commercial-grade fireworks, and Molotov cocktails at officers." International Business Times says, according to reports, the protests were peaceful until a group of several dozen black-face mask-clad activists showed up. Soon, videos showed them shooting fireworks at the building and smashing windows. Such a physically confrontational approach characterizes Antifa and separates it from the organic protests that have sprung up in the wake of Trump's inauguration as president. Milo Yiannopoulos ascribed the violence to the general left. CBS says Yiannopoulos posted on his Facebook page that he was safe and blamed the demonstrators. "I have been evacuated from the UC Berkeley campus after violent left-wing protesters tore down barricades, lit fires, threw rocks and Roman candles at the windows, and breached the ground floor of the building," the Post read. "One thing we do know for sure, the left is absolutely terrified of free speech and will do literally anything to shut it down." Why is the Republican Party so in love with Milo Yiannopoulos? Milo Yiannopoulos spins and twists information into social political forms that are appreciated by conservative capitalist Christians in the United States of America. Yiannopoulos says the global Antifa political violence movement is simply the general left, which he knows is an absolute lie. That's why Republicans love the dangerous faggot so much. According to Bloomberg, Yiannopoulos says being a gay Republican reinstates the illicitness that homosexuality has lost. Maybe that's why Republicans love Milo Yiannopoulos so much.